Have you ever noticed something strange about the FIFA World Cup? There are nearly 200 countries in the world, but some of them will never play in the World Cup. Not next year. Not in 10 years. Maybe not ever. And no, it's not because they're bad at football. In fact, some of these places aren't even allowed to try. Others don't exist in FIFA's eyes. And one country was once kicked out completely. Sounds unfair. Well, here's why some countries can never play in the World Cup. And trust me, the reason is much weirder than you think. First, let's clear up one huge misconception. The World Cup is not open to every country on Earth. To play in World Cup qualification, you need to be a member of FIFA. Sounds simple, it isn't. Because FIFA doesn't just hand out memberships like free candy. There are rules, a lot of rules. And this is where countries start running into problems. Section 1. No FIFA membership. Imagine trying to enter a tournament without being on the guest list. That's basically what happens here. If a territory or country isn't recognized by FIFA, it cannot enter World Cup qualifiers. No qualifiers, no matches, no chance. It's like showing up to an exam and discovering your name isn't even on the attendance sheet. Game over before it starts. And there are quite a few places stuck in this situation. Here's where it gets interesting. Some places actually have football teams. They play matches. They have fans. They have leagues. But FIFA still says no. Which brings us to the next problem. Section 2. Not recognized as a country. This is where politics enters the chat. FIFA generally prefers members to be internationally recognized countries. In theory, football and politics are separate. In practice, not really. Some territories claim independence, others are only recognized by a few nations. And because their political status is disputed, joining FIFA becomes extremely difficult. You know the type. Everyone argues about who they are and what they should be called. Meanwhile, the football team is just standing there wondering if they can play. Honestly, that's gotta be frustrating. Section 3. Tiny territories. Now you might think size doesn't matter, and usually it doesn't. But some places are incredibly small. We're talking populations smaller than many towns. Some don't have enough infrastructure. Some don't have proper stadiums. Others struggle to organize national competitions. Football requires players, coaches, referees, facilities, and money. A lot of money. Running a national football program is much harder than buying a few footballs and finding a field. And for some tiny territories, that's a major obstacle. Section 4. FIFA's strict requirements. Even if a place wants to join FIFA, there are hurdles. Big ones. FIFA expects organized football structures, national leagues, football associations, development programs, administration, documentation, and probably enough paperwork to fill an entire room. This sounds simple, it isn't. Because building all of that takes years, and for smaller nations, it can be a huge challenge. Section 5. Suspended countries. Now let's talk about the most dramatic category. Countries that can play. Until they suddenly can't. FIFA has the power to suspend members, and when that happens, they're out. No qualifiers, no tournaments, nothing. Usually this happens when governments interfere with football associations. FIFA really doesn't like that. Imagine training for years only to discover your team can't compete because adults in suits had an argument. Yeah, that's rough. Section 6. The places that almost made it. Some territories spend years trying to join FIFA. Some succeed. Others get rejected, again, and again, and again. It's like repeatedly applying for the world's most difficult club membership. The dream is always the same. Reach FIFA. Play qualifiers. Maybe one day reach the World Cup. But for many places, that dream remains just out of reach. And that's the part most fans never see. Section 7. Could this change? Actually, yes. Football is constantly growing. New associations develop. Rules evolve. Political situations change. Some places that seem impossible today could become FIFA members in the future. Others may never get there. Nobody knows. And that's what makes this topic so fascinating. Because the World Cup isn't just about football. It's also about geography, politics, history, and who gets a seat at the table. So when you see 48 teams competing for football's biggest prize, remember this: the hardest part for some countries isn't qualifying. It's getting the right to try. And that's why some countries can never play in the World Cup. At least for now. But what do you think? Should every country and territory be allowed to compete in World Cup qualification? Let me know below. And if you enjoy simple explanations of confusing sports topics, subscribe for more.